And we are live, and AJ's run off already. So, morning, everybody. So, welcome to the live stream of Discussing the Brand, episode 5. So, this is all on everything and anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As usual, I have my companion AJ down the bottom to help me out, and we have a special guest, obviously Rob from RoboFett and the Batman, probably the most experienced of Turtles knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, so anybody who does or doesn't know about Turtles, I'll do a little intro explaining how it all come about, just so you maybe might learn a bit something. So from the early 80s, it was Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's love of Jack Kirby that kind of joins the two together in 1984. So 40 years this year, they got together and created Mirage Studios, where they tried to publish their first comic based off a figure. And for anyone, this is Future Toys. So this was actually their first kind of creation. Unfortunately, that got rejected. So they went around a few other ideas. And then one night, they had Kevin Eastman wanted to make Peter Laird smile and created a very funny sketch of a turtle with ninja weapons. And thus, from that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was born for the combination. Obviously, as we know, that went on to 1987 when they started the TV series. Also, they joined with Playmates at that time and started producing the toys. Over $1 billion in toys was sold between 1987 and 1992. So it just shows you how much money back in those days it could make. Then the series has obviously gone on to spawn several incarnations, multiple movies, as you know, live action, animation, up until Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was the last TV series, and Mutant Mayhem, which is the last movie. So that is it in a nutshell, gentlemen. So my first question, who's your favourite turtle and why? Because it always is. Turtles are always different characters, so everyone can always relate to one of them. So, or maybe you just have a favourite one and you don't have a reason. Who knows?
But for me, for most of the franchise I'm into, I've always been into the villains more than the heroes. Although that's to do with my personality, but I'm a big Shredder guy. But if I had to choose a turtle, as a kid, it's Michelangelo, isn't it? It changes, I think, as you get older.
Yeah,
you know the party dude. It was always Mikey. He was the fun guy, never really serious. Although they kind of, as the franchise went on, like with Rise, I can appreciate Rise now. I didn't like it originally. They made Leo the comedy relief and Raph the lead. It's things they change, they go through. But I think a lot of people will say, I would say Mikey, but I think it's between Mikey and Donnie for a lot of people, but Mikey for me.
Okay. AJ? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say Donatello.
Okay.
He does machines, is that it?
Yeah.
Sorry?
He does machines. What do they even mean?
Donatello's this is so... It was always down to the colour purple.
But that's interesting you say it, because my favourite colour is red, but I've always liked Leonardo. So I don't know where that comes from or why, or I don't know. I just gravitated to him maybe because of the weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of hate for Donatello? Because I remember as a kid, when Turtles was first come out, the only Ninja Turtle figure on the shelves at the 4 was Donatello. You get none of the others. Toys R Us, Gamblers, Tesco. It was just walls of Donatello.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What was the figure I picked you up the other day, Chris?
That was Raphael.
Okay,
so yeah, right. So obviously the only Donatello I've got with me is like the original image type base one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, is Raphael, because I found one of them, Rob, in Tesco for £2.75.
It's crazy. It's to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the film, but the toy line is, if for the price range, it's kept at, so you got that cheap, but it's kept at $10.99, $9.99 for a figure with good articulation, full weapons, great paint detail. Other companies going 20, 30 quid on figures, say with the He-Man and stuff.
Yeah,
it's Playmates consistently are making fantastic figures, but now every toy company is making turtle figures.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes to show the popularity of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay.
But, I saw that there. I picked it up. I thought, and then I messaged Chris. I said, "Have you got this?" He said, "No."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a bit the other way. I really like the movie, but the figures, I was like, I've got so many incarnations of them. I wasn't going to pick them up. But now AJ's picked me up Raph. I was there last night looking online, like, oh, how much can you get them for?
Yeah. They've even got the vintage weapon rack in there from the 80s. They've got the weapon rack in the background. Comes the little baby turtle that you only originally got when you bought the ooze, and it was random if you got the right turtle. It's got that nostalgia of being back in the day, but obviously the look of they've nailed the look of the film with the figures.
Yeah, no, they do look. I think I don't know with you're saying about the prices of them compared to other. I mean, looking at these figures, obviously they're clearly aimed at kids. They're made for the children market. But the He-Man figures, like the Masterverse ones that I enjoy getting, they are aimed at the collector more so, aren't they?
There's no in between, is it? There's no in between. From I think Super 7 Turtles, for example, although they're amazing prices in B&M, I'm sure they retail at about 60, 70 quid each.
Yes. Yeah.
And with NECA do a lot of, although they're great figure. I've got all the NECAs, animated and movies, but a lot of the animated ones are double packs. So they're like 60, 70 quid, but the time you get them individually, it works out okay. But you got bags and ridiculous amounts of accessories. I've also shown you pictures of the bag of accessories I got. It's crazy.
So, yeah, no, I can see what AJ's saying. It's very much, I think back in the day, I would agree, but I think nowadays there's such a loose divide between collectors now. I'm saying, isn't it like a quarter of all toys sold are adult collectors? I think now, so it's like more adults are picking up toys from kid or what are aimed at kids because obviously they remember it, it's nostalgic and stuff like this. But I see what AJ's saying. The turtles are very, even though they've got articulation, they're very limited. Whereas I think like He-Man, Masterverse are more articulated, more suited for an adult collector. But I see what you're saying.
So you've got obviously the kiddie versions of He-Man, but there's different Turtles figures from $9.99 up to 60, up to Mondos. That are obviously there's different collecting points you could go through.
Yeah,
with,
so they're
with
targeting
the money NECA as well. Yeah, so there's a thing for everyone.
Yeah. They've got so they've sort of cornered the market in every aspect of age range and collector in a sense. Yeah,
but it is what I say. I'm not a big fan of the Super 7. I know I have a few, but mine are all like loose heads and joints, and it's like, it's good to pick it up in B&M for
paint rubs.
Yeah, like 20 quid, but how people pay 50 quid and that 60 quid for each figure. And
why that with I got my card. The reaction figures. You know, I don't agree, stuff that didn't come out when we was a kid, like the Aliens and the Terminator. When they're done reaction figures, great, brilliant. But I've like Pops where they're so saturated now. There's so many in the market. When they were doing reaction turtles, I didn't understand why that existed because there was a toy line of that kind of scale. But I've been buying them because they're in B&M. For like for 7 quid, and they're cool figures. The art on the cards are fantastic, but it's a figure that didn't need to happen. I didn't think a series.
No. Well, as AJ says, look, there's so many versions, aren't there? Like it was always back in the day one license for one company, like Playmates, but now we have like Super 7 and everyone else. It's just silly. I suppose for company, it's a company giving them their money to produce toys. Like okay, if you will, we'll give out the image.
Yeah,
makes money and keeps the franchise alive. I won't necessarily buy all of them. Probably won't buy the He-Man stuff. They're great figures, but when do you stop? Do you know what I mean? I see your video yesterday of all your stuff in the background. I've got all the 2012 line. It's ridiculous. There's so many. It's like it's the only. I think it's one of the only franchises where you would get a random Leonardo with a backpack. You got Mikey, 50 different versions of Mikey. You got. Do you know what I mean? It's figures that. Why is there so many of? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. No, Playmates were running. I mean, I say like back in the day, I remember seeing behind the scenes and stuff like that. They were just hiring anyone, like come along, design a turtle, and then we'll make it into a toy. and sell it, and
Yep.
then they'll try and put it in the TV series. It was,
Yep.
I say, a very big cash cow. But 40 years later, and we're still into Turtles, so it's obviously well. So it does strike me that a series has been reinvented so many times and hasn't come under much scrutiny, specifically as it's 4 boys as the main characters. I know there's been a lot of controversy, shall we say, about some of the other characters, like Stockman has gone through some changes, shall we say, from the comic to the TV series to live action, and obviously, So obviously, anybody who doesn't know, from the comics, he was a man of color, and then obviously the TV series they had him as a Caucasian, and then the later films, the 2014, the Bay ones, kind of put him back to what he should be. And I think even the Nickelodeon series, didn't they had him as as a man of color.
That's why the 2002 2003 show, I think, is the best animated show because it's close to the comics.
Yeah.
April's not rescued every 10 seconds, like in the original show, and she's not even in it much. But it's such a fantastic show.
It's
pull it out there,
isn't it?
It's so good, and it's got such a fantastic Ultron Shredder reveal. I don't know if you want to spoil anything, or can you spoil something that old?
No,
have you seen most of it?
Yeah, I've seen. I have mostly everything, and fast forward and that. I think everything that's been released. I've seen. So don't feel free to.
Massive fight on the rooftops on fire with Shredder. I think Shredder fighting the Turtles, and Leonardo decapitates him. Doesn't he? Takes his head off completely, and then Shredder just stands up at the end, puts his head back on, and walks off. What's going on there? And he's got an Ultron crane inside him.
Yeah,
and I think that was such a twist to use that, and they kind of use that in the comics now. I like the way they change things slightly to. I like Shredder. He's a cool character.
Yeah. They kind of. I feel like they inspired that a little bit from Rise, the movie. If you've seen Rise of the Teenage Mutant
Ninja Turtles. I think it's such a shame it didn't make the cinema. It's such a good film.
Yeah, you got a bootleg copy, didn't you, AJ, of the movie?
Of Rise.
The movie and the series, I think, because they only did like 2.
I think we got it from the place where AJ got that from. Is the same guy I get stuff from, and he did me all of the 2002 show on Blu. I've got the Out of the Shell tour on Blu-ray. It's stuff that you'd never watch again.
Yeah, because I got the series there, Rise. Yeah. I have got the film somewhere. Not on me at the moment, but yes. Yeah, I do have
part of Rise is very, very good. The end of Rise is really good. But early on, I'm sure it was like 10-minute episodes. And it was just ridiculous. And I couldn't get used to the animation. Looked like Samurai Jack. But when I stuck it and binge watched the whole season, the end of it is really good. Shame we didn't get another series.
Yeah, no, I mean, I unfortunately I didn't stick it out like you. I mean, it took me a little while to get to it, but yeah, I love the movie and it makes me want to go back and watch it, but they just never released. They only released like the first 2 volumes, which was a pain. I think like 10 episodes, 5 on each. So
I'm sure we can hook you up with a.
Yeah. Oh, it's on my list. It's on my list to the guy at AJ. So it is. So I will get it at some point. I'm just so much stuff to buy. It's spoiled for choice.
So I mean, toy wise, you lot the affinity in toys. I only have. I'll be honest. I only have 2 turtle figures. That's it. Because I don't. With my figure collecting, it's kind of a bits and pieces across the board. So turtle wise, I do want to get the NECA movie ones. That's definitely on my radar. But I don't know. I never get around to. So the only NECA one I have is from Last Ronin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one there. I don't know if you got that one. Because obviously, the comic book I enjoyed, and then I picked up that one there as well.
Okay.
See, I love that figure. It's nostalgic because looks like a Playmate. It's a Playmate original figure they would release like that.
That's right, yeah. And you had the I don't know. It was just I like the sort of the sketch aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
So that's it. As far as my collecting figure wise goes, that's it. Except for when I end up getting the movie ones. But I do know that PVC Gallery, Diamond Select PVC Gallery are releasing I don't know if you've seen,
No.
but you've got that figure coming, the statue figure coming later in the year of Donatello.
Yeah,
That's cool. Is that Mouser below him? Yeah.
Yeah. But they're now being, the prices of them are now shot up. They're like, it's like 75 quid for that now. I know previously.
So that's a statue. That I assume there'll be 4 statues of, so you'll have each turtle and put them together.
Yeah, I assume so. That's the only one that I've seen at the moment, which is tentatively got a release date for later in the year.
Okay.
So I'm keeping an eye on that because, yeah, even though they've shot the prices up, that's the bit that annoys me.
obviously it's that nostalgia, obviously, for us, different to you, AJ, because obviously you was aware of it when it come out, but necessarily there was other things, like you was more a comic guy, weren't you? So you would, if they released obviously all the Marvels, DC figures, you would get them. For me, it's always so I had every toy line as a kid, but I didn't have every toy line all at once. Like we used to buy, I didn't even have them when they come out. I can't really remember, but we sell them at markets to fund the next lot of figures like Ghostbusters, Visionaries, Centurions, He-Man, Thundercats. But Turtles, I can't even say what happened with Turtles to me. I remember going to, I liked the show. It was quite hard to go back to because obviously the first season, 12 episodes or 6 episodes, then 12, then the third series, like 64 episodes, so ridiculous. There's a lot of filler in the original. So for me, my nostalgia is more towards the figures than the 80s show.
Yeah.
And I remember going to a boot sale, VHS Pirates Everywhere. There was a copy of a pirated Ninja Turtles animated show. It had like a hand-drawn cover. Thinking, this is can I have that, Dad? This is when pirate films were like £20 at a boot sale on VHS.
Yeah, I remember them days.
Put it on in the film, and it was the movie.
Oh yeah,
it was a terrible copy of the movie, and it weren't the full movie. It ended when Shredder put his claw through the TV. So it's probably 20 minutes of the film before I knew. They had no social media, and I didn't know they was making a film.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, and whirlwind of all the things. I can't tell you what I had as a kid. I know I had a lot of stuff, but as an adult, where you've got a job and you work, you buy stuff you never had as a kid because you got fond memories. And I did have every Ninja Turtle figure ever made in all the way through. But obviously, when I got married, it was like I sell the collection to fund my wedding, and I got a lot of money for it all. And the last, say, 12 months, I've been getting stuff in preparation for the little one that was coming. And I've almost completed the original run, 2012, 2002. But just and obviously Rise, I got most of Rise, some of the stupidly rare ones. Shredder's like 50, 60 quid, all the NECAs. And there's for me, it's just they're in tubs till we get a room for them. And am I going to let him have them? I've been on Facebook Market, I've got 6 sewers. I don't need sewers. Do you know what I mean? In boxes, because I know in 4 years, if you don't like them, it's still going to be around. And we know from looking at price of figures now, they're only going to shoot up in price.
Yeah.
So I've probably bought the market, probably the ones you're looking for. I've probably bought them just for literally just to store them away. But my collection has been about the toys rather than the films, obviously originally. But obviously I like all Turtles incarnations.
Yeah.
Next mutation, if you live it, is with Venus.
Yeah.
See, for me, the when the cartoon series came about, obviously I was aware of it. I wasn't actually watching it in the 80s. I think that came later on when I started.
You're 25 when it come out.
Yeah.
25 when it come out.
Would have been a teenager, wouldn't you? So
sorry,
you would have been a teenager, whereas me and Rob would have been kids. So that's probably where.
I think at that point I'd started growing out of animation and cartoons and that sort of thing. So it came at that point in my life where, so for me, it getting back into it was later on when I started to appreciate animation again and appreciate the nostalgia of that time when I was younger. And although I was aware of it, but didn't watch it when I was younger. I saw the odd episodes here and there. As I got older, I sort of enjoyed that era of my life, and that was when I started revisiting Transformers, Thundercats, Mask, all that sort of a thing, and Turtles was still a thing. Obviously, it always has been. You know, it's been a huge franchise. Obviously, I watched the films and that sort of a thing, and the TMNT film, like what you showed a little while ago, Chris. As these things came out, I still watched them. I wasn't ever a big Turtles comic fan, but I would sort of delve in now and then, sort of jump in, jump out, that sort of a thing, with specific storylines. If anything, you know, it looked like something good was going on, and that's how my sort of my sort of enjoyment of it came later on in life. But with that comes like I said, my turtle knowledge is crap. It's nothing, because even now, like when I watch, you know, if I go back and I think about something like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I can name you all the characters. I can talk about the series quite in depth, but the newer Star Treks, I don't retain that information. You know, I don't retain that knowledge of the name of the characters. I'm not, even though I watch it and I enjoy it, life is so busy that I don't retain that. But had I watched them back then, I'd probably have retained it all. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of thing how it sort of works for me.
No, that's interesting. I say mine's different. I mean, I grew up on the cartoons. I had a few of the figures, but I mean, I probably have to go into a bit personal here, but obviously my mum and dad separated when I was 3. So obviously then my mum got remarried later. So we didn't have loads of money. So I never got a lot of the figures. And then when my mum did remarry, I got a few figures. And that's when VHSs. So I don't think I ever saw the first 2 movies. But when obviously my mum and new dad got together, that's when the 3rd movie came out. So I had the VHS.
Well, you resonate to that, yeah.
Which is why, like, this is the only figure I have from my childhood for Turtles. Like I've managed to complete him now, and that's why I love the movie. I think because it was my kind of main exposure, and then I've gone back as time has gone on to watch the other series and stuff. Because I've liked art and a bit like AJ comics and stuff. I think I've just always had something Turtles or that around, and it's just grown. And yeah, the toy line, I kind of get the odd bit, or as probably Rob knows, you pick up a bundle when it's got like 2 figures from this series and 5 figures from this series, and then you end up going down a rabbit hole and trying to complete stuff. So
it's crazy. I've got a boot full of vehicles, helicopters, like from 2012, which like it wasn't purpose for a Turtles wave, but it was TMNT. So they done some crazy things with their vehicle and stuff, and you can go mental with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you see loads of toys, it's always interesting to see how they repurpose different toys for different brands. I think, like, isn't the Pizza launcher from the 1980s wave that was repurposed, I think, for like G.I. Joe or something?
Yeah, there's a couple of Toxie figures. Toxie vehicles.
Yeah, it's just
because they fit well into the Turtles range anyway, because they look like Turtles figures.
Bright, colourful, always attract.
Probably the brightest toy line that's existed, and they're not cheap now either.
No, they are shooting up. I say I've got a few bits from the Toxic Crusaders line, but yeah, as I think.
Yeah, again, a show that was done by Fred Wolf that done the Turtles animated show. He'd done the show for the Toxic Crusaders, and that was only 12 episodes, which AJ, our friend, has got that as well. That's maybe worth a watch.
Has he got that? Has he?
Yeah. Well, it's because he got it for me, so yeah.
You can watch it all free on Prime at the minute, Toxic Crusaders. And it is like funny, obviously Toxic Crusaders came from obviously Toxic Avenger, which is not kids related at all.
No, because you had Marvel done a comic of it as well.
Did they? I don't. I probably
the Toxic Crusaders comic. It was short lived, I believe. I used to have them. I don't think I've got them anymore though. But yeah.
But then Turtles have got the one that's people like the shock of when this is. I know it's not Turtles related. Where my nan taught me to see Batman in the cinema. We was only used to quite toned down, campy Batman, and then we had the film that was brutal and very similar to the first Turtles film. A lot of people were like, "What's going on here?" That's why they obviously toned down the the violence in Secret Use. Obviously, most of the fight scenes are using sausages instead of nunchucks, and I think that's why they made Token Rise a lot like they did, and Shredder so over the top. But I love it. I think it's a great film. Amazing figures that cost you 150 quid there. Do you know what I mean?
Well, these only cost me about 90 because I got them from NECA Direct. But yeah, it is a pain with a lot of their figures nowadays.
You'll be careful with Toker's back because that's quite sharp, isn't he?
Yeah. Way up.
Yeah, you get out of life imitates art and stuff because they were people didn't like they were silhouetted in the first poster, and everyone thought that's people at Rocksteady, and no one really gravitated towards them. Then Turtles and Time come out, and they were enemies in the game.
Yeah,
and then they put them in episode of the show. So whatever happens, it all kind of goes together. And apart from I'll say after Turtles 3 when there wasn't a full film, because Turtles 3 didn't do well and the Power Rangers were taken over. That's when we had Next Mutation, which the Next Mutation, I don't know if you know, the full film was going to be the Turtles mutating more, and they'll becoming more feral in the full film.
Didn't they do that in the early 2000 series?
They done it in the show, yeah, and they were out of control. I think Leo was a villain, maybe, but the Next Mutation show, which was I think made by the guys that made Power Rangers, had a female character called Venus, and no one liked that character, but there was a fifth turtle, and I've got the figure of Venus, and there you go.
That's the bootleg of it, which I still haven't watched, to be honest. I've got these.
I guarantee you won't be able. If what she's got psychic powers, and she turns Shredder good in like episode 2, if I remember. And but the figure lines are, if you look at the Shredder in that toy line, it's very similar, the figure, to Out the Shadow Shredder.
Okay.
Just like a black costume, stupid armor, and splitter in that. But all of the costumes were used from Turtles 3. So the where they live in the sewer is the underground train station from Turtles 3. That they've reused a lot of that, but it's a hard watch. It is hard. It's difficult to watch.
26 episodes of it.
I think the first 4 was like a mini movie.
That's right. Yeah, first 5. Yeah.
And you got you got a guy called Bone Still, I think, a bounty hunter. You got a monkey, a big monkey, and the Dragon King's a bit. It's got some really weird out there characters, like Power Ranger villains.
Yeah.
I recommend anyone trying to watch it.
We'll get around to it.
It was done by Saban, wasn't it? Because obviously the
done crossover as well.
Yeah, within space, which was very strange. Turtles going into space and then flying the Astro Megazord.
And they know each other, but they've also done a NECA. Was it NECA? Yeah, they've done a crossover figure range.
Yeah,
where Shredder gets a dragon dagger and he's got the dragon armor. They're cool. I think I've done a video on my channel of them figures. Cool figures. They're cool.
Yeah. And Tommy's a foot soldier and April's the
big. And I can get 2 Tommies because obviously the only way if you want an army build the fort, you got to swap the heads.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay, we've got a few people in, so we'll do a little pop up. So Noah Mason's film collection.
Ooh.
I know AJ's already chatting to him.
Yeah, I said hello. Yeah.
And we've got Adrian. Morning, guys. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Cool. Okay. What is your favourite movie then from the Turtles? Animated, live action? You can choose anyone.
Who's going first?
So we can choose.
The host go first.
The host go first. I would probably say that it's almost a mix between the first Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and Turtles Forever. I think Turtles Forever was such a great combination of all things Turtles that I enjoyed.
It's the voice cast of the originals I really can't get over because they've changed. It's just really off-putting, some of them. They changed them.
Yeah, I mean, I think isn't it the original voice of Raphael?
Yeah.
I think it was Raphael. He's the only one that's actually returned, but then did Donatello in like the Nickelodeon series and other stuff. He does like one of Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
Robert Paulson, wasn't it, that does.
yeah, that's him. Yeah.
But even like the 2012 done a very similar thing to Forever,
Okay.
where their turtle was prime, and they brought the Shredder went back to the CGI land. That was cool.
Yeah.
But Forever is good. Which is available uncut from my friend.
Yeah. I have actually. So you can buy it, and I do own it. So officially.
They 4-3 the ratio on that, and it's cut, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the version that I've got. What Chris has got there.
It's cool.
Do you want to go next, Rob? What's your favourite?
I always draw back to the original, but I can't tell you how much I love the Leo ref fight in 07. Although they look like frogs, they look like frogs in it, and the cast of that film is ridiculous. Sarah Michelle Gellar, there's a lot of people in that, and I really like the Stone Generals, unique characters they've made, big cool figures, and I see 07 as probably Turtles 4, because they put the Shredder helmet on the shelf at the end, and it's when they've stopped fighting, they all go their separate ways, don't they? Mikey's a child entertainer, Donatello's the tech guy, Raphael's the night watcher, Leonardo's gone away to train. They've split up, so it's all of them coming back, but
no, it is a good. I mean, I kind of feel like it could have turned that into a series because of all the monsters that they had to collect. It kind of felt like someone had a series idea and went, no, let's combine it and just do it in a film. Because they went through, was it like 11 creatures they had to capture?
in 30 seconds.
yeah. They do like 1 or 2 in like the cafe scene and that. And then imagine it's like, we just caught the 11th one. Let's go.
But there was meant to be a second film.
Okay.
And there's loads online about Mike is the only turtle that's a turtle, obviously full grown. The rest get turned into babies.
Okay.
And they were going to obviously bring Shredder back. I like what they did with Karate. It's almost like City at War, with the comic and the 2003 show. It's like they've all gone their separate ways. So it's very dark in the kids' film, and a lot of people don't even like it or never seen it. They even don't know it exists. But it's that or the original. It's tough because without the original, we wouldn't have got anything. But I really like the 07 film.
Cool.
It's a decent one for me. I'd gravitate towards. Okay, the original film, I agree. I remember myself first seeing it, and again, it would have been Pirate. It wasn't at the cinema I saw it. It was, and it's such a dark film that the Pirate, you could see what the hell's going on. It was much like watching Tim Burton's Batman on Pirate. It was so dark.
E.T. was the same.
Yeah, I remember them days. I mean, why you put yourself through that, I don't know. But for animation, I've got to go with the Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, you know, I mean, I've read the comics. I think there was 3 Batman versus Turtle comic series done, if I remember rightly. You may correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, or Rob, if you've read them. And obviously that's loosely based upon the first one of those. And it's something that, I don't know, should it have worked? I don't think so, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. The
mutations of the villains were cool, I thought.
Yeah, it was. So for animation, I like that film. Obviously, there's the Batman Connect as well.
Although Shredder beats him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and live action. Yeah, that first film, I don't think you can, beat. Even the I got a lot of love for original effects, prosthetics, all that sort of thing, model work, and all that. And for its time, I thought they were great. I thought they looked great. Yeah,
it's partly Jim Henson, weren't it? Because
it was. Yes, that's right.
Because the bloke who voiced Elmo at the time, he was Splinter.
Well, I didn't know that.
Kevin Clash. But obviously, they had a lot of controversy in the early 2000s. Yeah, he was acquitted, so he is technically innocent by American law. But yes, not get into that. Cool. Noah has put in that obviously there is a sequel being done for Mutant Mayhem and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, if I can get my words out, is planned.
Yeah, you've got a 2-season animated series based on the Mutant Mayhem, but animated, not CGI.
Okay.
And I don't know how it's obviously. Has everyone seen the film?
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah.
So the way that film ended with the reveal of a new villain coming, I don't know if they're doing it just to give us another 400 villains in action figure form, because I don't think we're gonna. I'll be surprised if we see Shredder in the animated show before the movie.
Yeah.
I reckon we're gonna have 2 seasons, which I think start in April.
Okay.
2 seasons, and then we have a film.
Okay, that's
So fingers crossed. Obviously, we'll get it anyway. But if they'll do a physical release, we know how these companies work. If you have to, I think it'd be with Paramount potentially. You have to subscribe. The only way to get it is to watch it on that channel, and you can only buy 2 movies, which is probably the way it goes anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
But my issue with that movie is what they did to Bebop and Rocksteady. I think they're great. They're great in that. They are great in that film. But are they going to turn? Are they going to turn bad? Because we know they're bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, they all live together, don't it? That's how they end, and Splinter's dating Scumbag and stuff like that. That was a bit weird.
Not controversy with that, because when obviously the posters come out, it said Scumbag voiced by himself. But they had the poster before they had the figure, so everyone's is Splinter gay? Because obviously Scumbag's voiced by himself. He's a man, but then they got the marketing wrong.
Okay. And that, yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, because in it they mention he's like Superfly, doesn't he? He's like my 7 brothers and sister. I think he mentions it a few times. So
it's definitely going to be a different way they're going with this series, because we're going to get like a teen high school series, because that's where it's ended. Yeah. How are they going to go with this? Because it's the first film or the first part where they've been accepted. People know about them.
Yeah.
So you could either do a Spider-Man twist where they're the bad guys and Shredder comes as the good guy, and there might be something that I don't know how they'll work it, but it's exciting to be a fan.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, I really liked the movie. It was in my top 10 of last year. I think I said before, like, it's 40 years since this was created. There've been every new version of and brings a new element to it, and the fact that it's still like well received and still like people are into it, buying the figures and everything else 40 years on. It's amazing that you can keep reusing the same idea and it connects to so many people.
And it's great they're bringing villains that not many people know of. Of course, you've got stuff like, my mom, like my Ray Fillet this is Ray Fillet for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, with fish sticks at the bottom, but it was only in the comics, and I don't think he was really in the no. It wasn't a show, but it didn't look nothing like the figure. That's the thing. The original figure looked nothing like the things from the show, but they brought Scumbag in. Leatherhead. I haven't got an issue with him being voiced by a woman. That's a cool figure. And then you've got Cynthia Outram. Obviously, Outram. If you're a fan of the Turtles, Outrams are the Krangs.
Well, you see it because I watched it the other day. So
she looks like the android body, doesn't she?
Glasses. But then if you look at all her minions when they are milking the turtles, they've got a visor on with a triangle, but the back of it has a little antenna like that, like Krang. And I only noticed that the other night, and I was like, "That's too many."
No, I'm going to have to send you a picture, because the original teaser poster for the film. Because this is going to be a trilogy of film, yeah. They reckon in this poster they show all the villains from the 3rd film, all 3 films in it. Because you look at a picture, there's a massive eye. There's a Technodrome. You can see it in the corner. You got a silhouette in the background of Shredder. So from this one picture, you can see how they're going to do the trilogy.
Okay.
We was all excited out of the shadows when you see the eye turn up. You jump at the end, oh my God, it's a Technodrome. Well, it was terrible. It was, that fuzzy feeling like when you see Bebop and Rocksteady. It's, oh my God, it's Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did like the second one. I like the Krang's design and that. I was a bit gutted that they got rid of Shredder quite quickly.
The bit where he gets frozen, he goes back into the
the stasis block or whatever it was. Have
you ever paused that scene? You got a Triceratops in there, you got a Fugitoid in there.
Oh, okay. No,
there's a YouTuber that's gone through it, zoomed in on each pod with different characters. So I don't understand why Transformers, obviously, I appreciate the films, and you're a fan. I can watch them all. Transformers kind of brings out bad sequels, and Turtles has really found it difficult to do a live action again there in 2 films, because I like the original reboot. Keeping Shredder revealed to the end. Out of Shadows was fun. I think Out of Shadows was better than the original, but no one went to see it.
No.
So I don't understand why like Beast Wars and these films are still doing well, but the Paramount just stopped the Turtles, but continually made Transformers.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it is always strange. I mean, I don't know, because I think, what was it? The Out of the Shadows and stuff was near the end of Michael Bay's Ray on Transformers as well. Maybe people were just sick of that
Explosions.
movie. Yeah, and stuff. But yeah, I'm like you. I really liked one. I think I went to see one. It was one of the first movies I went to see twice in a long time at the cinema. And the second one, I didn't think was bad. But yeah, I mean, there was stuff like Stephen Amell as Casey Jones I didn't like.
Yeah.
I saw him.
Vern. We're bringing Vern into the films.
Yeah.
It's a character that people don't know about, but he's good in the animated series, the original, and he's a good character in the film.
Yeah. And funny enough, why we're on, obviously, Casey Jones, and obviously, I don't know if you know AJ, so Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, you know that film, because you got the little figure, didn't you?
Big Trouble. I didn't pick the figure up for it, no, but Big Trouble in Little China, yeah.
But Kurt Russell's character, that is the inspiration for Casey Jones.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. So if you watch, I believe, the Nickelodeon series 2014, there's an episode where they kind of take Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, the sorcerer. Yeah. They have him in it as the sorcerer.
Look, because April's got green eyes, isn't she?
Yeah, and it is just a very homage to that, which was really, with stuff like that, I really liked when they did like a kind of almost like 90s TV series when they used to take ideas from films and put them into.
With the hand from Daredevil to the foot for Turtles, and I reckon the ooze canister could be the same one that turned Daredevil. There's so many different things that they're using. But even I'm not a big fan of Turtles 3, but they brought Casey Jones back, the same actor.
Yeah,
it was in the original film to play Casey Jones, and after that was, although they didn't use him that well, it was good that he come back. You would recognise him. He was skinhead, not sure where.
Yeah. He's a babysitter, wasn't he? More or less in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. I think he's in like Chicago Fire or something, or Chicago PD. I think that's the reason why. Yeah, but when you see him and he's got a bald hair now and a little bit of hair, he looks completely different compared to what.
So I'm sure they changed the name of that film, because I'm sure it was just because was it called? Well, at some point it was called Turtles in Time, then it was just called Turtles 4. I think even the DVD changed the title a few times on that one. Turtles 3, sorry. Yeah, Turtles 3, and some of them just say Turtles in Time.
Yeah, mine just has Turtles 3 on it, but it is 1992. But yeah, so it was the original release. But yeah, I haven't. Okay, I'll have to look out for that. But I get it is 3's very slapstick. I get people don't like. I understand the reason why people don't like it, but I do. So. And obviously, I want the NECA figures, but they don't do them over here yet. So, unless I want to pay 200 quid for the box set.
Would you buy the horses of the original ones?
Maybe. I mean, I want to get all the figures. There's a few figures I'm missing from 3, but I've got, because obviously I love the movie so much. But yeah, when it comes to figures and playsets and stuff, I'm so limited. I mean, if you've watched any of my recent toy room improvements, you'll see that I have like I've got Mask in one corner and then Visionaries in another with 2 Thundercats one. But I just I see all the stuff coming out now, and like the new Turtles wagon from Super 7 and stuff, and they're so massive. I'm like, I've just run out of space.
500 quid, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen Pixel Dan's comparison between that one and I think there's another one that comes just before that, and it's like 200.
One as well.
Yeah. And I'm like, they look good, but I'm like, it's $300 or $500. It's a lot of money just to drop. Yeah. I mean, even the Thunder Tank looks amazing, but I'm like, again, $350.
Cat's lair, the size of Cat's lair.
Yeah.
You have to get a room just for that.
But yeah, going back to your question, yeah, I probably would. Like, I might pick up a horse or that, or some of the weapons and stuff, just because I do love 3 so much. I would like to have almost a complete set. But
I think they gave April hair, didn't they, as a figure?
Yes, they did. And if I don't actually have her with me, but yeah, I believe they did. And like a few of the Japanese character and Walker, and then the Japanese Jet Warlord, wasn't it?
I will watch. I will watch it. I will do a review. I will get through it.
I say it's very slapstick and stuff like that, which you kind of get the feeling, as you say, with the fighting of sausages from 2. They went into that very early. I think when Michelangelo pretends to be a Weeble Wobble, if you remember that very early on.
Yeah,
like, yeah, like, and then like the Three Stooges.
Yeah. Was there a relation, like a turtle-human relationship in Turtle 3? Hinted with Michelangelo and Raph?
No, I think Michelangelo liked the kind of Japanese princess, but then I think she was betrothed to someone else. I think they kind of touched on it, and then they went away for it. And obviously, being a kid at the time, you probably a lot of people didn't pick up on that. But yeah, because obviously her son or daughter is really fond of Michelangelo, I believe. And when the village gets set on fire, he goes and rescues her, if I remember rightly.
I just remember, I think April and Casey in the cell, and they look at a rat and she says Splinter, and I turn it off. A rat just runs past them, and I'm like, no, not yet.
Oh. You're right there, AJ. We're not boring you too much.
I'm out of my element here.
No.
Let me just prop you 2 guys up.
No.
Would you like to learn though? Would you obviously? Yeah. For me, if people haven't read the comics that goes on for 200 episodes, I recommend getting the 5. I'll say they've done 5 seasons of 2002 to 3. Although they went back to the sewers and fast forward at the end, went a bit funny. With Casey's son, I think. I think the first 3 or 4 seasons tell pretty much the story of the comics. It's dark, it's gritty, it's a good show, and they got the turtles got white eyes, so it is like the comics. That show is fantastic.
What series is that? What one?
That's the 2002 show.
Yeah.
And our friend might have that.
I'm sure he will.
It's one.
But it's a great show. But then also, I like all the 2012 show. Although the CGI, some people say, is a bit naff, the character development's fantastic. I think David Tennant does Fugitoid. And there's a brutal bit yet again. What Shredder does to Splinter.
Yeah. Before
they go into space, it's like they've done this at a kids show, and then they did near the end of it. I think it was Tales of TMNT. Where there's an episode called Wasteland where I think Raph's the only turtle left. It's like Mad Max, an episode of Mad Max. He's the only one left. Donatello's a robot, and it's just a really cool, gritty show. I think there's probably 5 seasons of that. All the shows are really great. I would say the weakest turtle show, animated, is probably the original.
Yeah.
Not that one. The kids one.
Yeah. Oh, that's the dinosaur one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But all the shows, and the Rise, you can get over the animation, and they've changed it by making Raphael the leader. But then in the movie, he got Splinter go to Leonardo. Oh, you can be the lead in there. The thing that got me in the series, near the end of the series, about what they've done with like gender changes. There's Casey Jones' character, a female character. I think they changed this when all the backlash. Her name is Cassandra Jones. Friends call me Casey. And oh my God, they've turned Casey Jones into a woman. This is ridiculous. But then in the film, Casey Jones, his mum was Cassandra Jones, and Casey Jones was who we knew. So I think they changed that because of the backlash they got.
Possibly.
But even making Splinter, what was Splinter's name? He was like a Jackie Chan character, wasn't he? Liu Jitsu. Yeah. He's a Liu Jitsu. He was like Jackie Chan. And he was he was like a couch bum, and like this is not Splinter. It's ridiculous. But if you watch it, it is good, and people that have really dismissed it need to watch it again because I think it's fun. Mystic weapons, and it's a shame we never got another show series. But AJ, get all of them. You've already got the original. The 2002 show you can get officially in the same pack as the original American import you got.
Oh yeah, that one. Like that,
the DVD one, the big, they've released the next one. Yeah, there you go. Or so that box set you've got, they've done the 2012 and the 2002 show in that size.
Okay, and what's the one you were saying about the Mad Max-esque one?
That's in if you
end.
got the Tales one there, Tales of TMNT. I think it's probably the last disc. It's called Wasteland, Saint Wasteland.
Okay, so it's not. Yeah, all right. And what series?
This is 2012. It's near the end of the show, near the end of the season, where they did. It was a 3-parter inspired by Mad Max. Really good, rough, like really bulky. Raphael had a big beard. He had a big beard, and he was like, he was done. And there was this villain he's fighting that turns out to be someone else, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's the Nickelodeon one after this. It's the one I didn't have with me. I thought I had it.
They do it you can get it on disc, but they kind of mucked up the release at the end. They released it was the end of the show, but because Nickelodeon didn't want to end the series, they aired it a different way around.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch subjects. So we've spoken about the cartoon. So let's go to probably the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So AJ's read this. So the last Ronin. So did you like it? Is question probably one. And a follow-up, did you guess what turtle it was? Or he was, or they were, whatever you want to.
Everyone's kind of read it now or knows, but there was so much controversy when they released the comics. Like, who is it? And I think, could we say who it is? Or
yeah,
yeah. I was like, spoiler warning. We'll just put it up there. If you watch it, if you haven't read the last Ronin, then skip probably the next 5-10 minutes.
I think it had to be Mikey for the fact that he's the party dude. You know, he's the fun, go-loving character, and it's a complete role reversal for him in that position. He's lost everyone, and he's had to almost like man up. He's like, he's had his childhood years, and they said we've had turtles as teens for years. We've not had anything from that, and I think they've done a really good job. Gutted with what they did with Karaya. Well, that was a bit harsh, but yeah. I wanted it to be Mikey, but I kind of thought it might have been Ref.
Okay. AJ, do you want to cast?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't think I was. I mean, what can I say? I think for yourselves reading it, it was more of a surprise, if that makes sense. More of a reveal than what it was for me, in the sense that where you're far more into it than I am, I don't think it really mattered which one it turned out to be, if that makes sense. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So, okay, I got to the end of that first issue. Oh, okay, it's Michelangelo. All right, fair enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I mean, I liked it. I thought he was going to be Donatello. I don't know why I had that inclination. I think they were just because he knew a little bit more and he's a little bit more technical minded, maybe going across it. Supposedly, Eastman and another guy who helped write it said the reason why they chose Michelangelo is because he's the least obvious person to pick. That was their reasoning. They were like, out of all 4 turtles, who's the one that you would most likely not think? Which I get it, because he's, as you said, Rob, he's a party dude. He's laid back, and this turtle
no worries. Instantly had to man up straight away.
Yeah.
And
well, it's good. Yeah, it's a good turn of character, isn't it? It makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
When you look at
I've not read the other one yet. I've got the other one in the car, but I don't know if it's something about Shredder joining the turtle, something about to turning good. Is that wrong?
I think he tried to help him, weren't he? He tried to turn good, and then obviously he was kind of betrayed. And then obviously his sons are not very nice, which is obviously how it starts about. But yeah, because there was a truce, weren't there? And then obviously the truce was broken, and that's how. I want to say, was it Donatello and Splinter who got killed in the ambush?
Yeah, gosh.
And then Leo and Raph got killed on the war zone, with obviously Casey and half of April's arm and leg Was it arm and leg? I think something like that. Which was then interesting because obviously she gives birth, and then we obviously have Casey 2. So anybody who hasn't seen it, apologies, we just ruined it. But obviously this is the future. all the turtles and Splinter are killed. One turtle is left. He goes into isolation, then comes back to basically take on Shredder's son, who now rules kind of the new New York with the help of a very old April O'Neil and a very young new Casey, who's the child of Casey Jones and April O'Neil. This leads to one big battle, and then obviously the second one, there are 4 new turtles birthed, which I've got their names because they're really hard to remember.
I know, I still got.
I think Own, Mojo, Uno, and Yi are there. Very distinct characters and stuff, and they're kind of going through Lair being the new turtles, but it's very different. It's a new angle. It's interesting.
Very difficult to follow the comics in the. So I don't like using the word canon and stuff like that because is this the IDW? This is what they're doing going forward. Is this the new? We are going to stick with these new 4. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a brave move because they've not done anything like that for years.
Yeah,
that's them there. That's the cover for one of the covers for issue 1 of
Revolution. Yeah.
Because we've got these 4 in the comics. You got the teens in the animated movie. And if there's a new Bay film coming out, we don't know what we're getting. So, is it going to be? We're going to have 3 different, almost like a multiverse. We know there's Turtle Prime. We know about that. Is it going to be a Turtles Prime kind of where you follow what you want? Yeah. Again, you got people that just read the comics, love where they're going with that, or I don't like the shows because it's not like the comics. You got the people that watch the shows that don't read the comics, and the people that like the films that don't watch either the other, or read or watch the other one. So I like the way they're so diverse, which a lot of other, I'll say, toy lines or cartoons or films don't do that. They've got hands in so many different bits. That's why it's been going so long, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is, I think, is it IDW? Oh, that's really bad, I should know. Yeah, it is IDW. Obviously, had the comic rights. The comic rights end with them in 2024, but this is where this is supposedly going to be rebooted as well. So it's very
heavily into the new Tanimals, weren't they? A lot of the new Tanimals, which yet again have got a few of them have gone over to the different things.
Yeah,
it's cool. Well, but IDW do a NECA range on there, don't they?
Yeah. I don't have any of them. So
there's characters I don't even know. I don't know about. I didn't really know about Alopex in the anime in the IDW. I didn't really read much of them. I've got a lot of them.
Yeah,
there's other characters, even like Usagi. Usagi weren't a Turtles character, his own separate ways, and they've introduced him in a lot of the Turtle lore.
Yeah, because wasn't there? They wanted to do a crossover or something with him, and then he ended up getting bought in. I can't remember. I'm trying to find. There's a couple.
Even Usagi, I didn't realise it. There's a Netflix show of Usagi.
Oh yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? Okay, that's probably the only issue I have. So anybody who doesn't know, Alopex is this wolf character here, what we're talking about, and obviously a few of the other ones. Where are we for? Sorry, putting this back.
And that was brutal. Do you remember? This is like with the stuff, obviously, with who was the last Ronin. You remember all the controversial IDW when Bebop and Rocksteady killed Donatello?
Yeah. I've read that, and obviously
smashed him with a massive hammer. And he died in the episode. And this, oh my god, this magazine's worth millions. It's the last episode, last time you're going to see Donatello. And they brought him back like as Metalhead. I think. But people went crazy when they did that to him.
But it was good. I said I never saw it coming. I heard all about it before I got to that point in the comics. But I say it's good that they do stuff like that. But yeah, I can imagine people just, someone's dying. Let's buy it and that, and then obviously a twist, and then obviously you mentioned. Sorry, go Rob.
I've got to say it's crazy, yeah. So
yeah, no, I was going to say it. Oh, okay, we've got to wait.
No, go on, carry on.
No, I was just say obviously.
Hey, carry on. I can hear.
So you mentioned obviously Venus. Venus was the very first say trial at a female turtle, and obviously wasn't. Then
Yeah.
we've obviously had. I've got to find her name now. We
You
do have a
had Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. Do you remember that? Mona Lisa was the gecko thing.
Yep. And then we had where was it next? Then Janika in the comics. So in 2019, there was a female ninja who had a blood transfusion, I think, from one of the turtles, and now she's the fifth turtle, which seemed to go over quite well, I think, from what I've seen. I haven't read too much of those comics yet.
I think because Next Mutation was almost forced a lot of ways, and they weren't brothers anymore. They weren't brothers in that, so they could sort out a relationship with her and one of the turtles. And it's like, what is going on? But I've got a figure. I should have bought it. I've got a figure of her. It's turtles. They made 6 new female turtles. I still have them. It just didn't work for me.
No, I know. I've read a lot of behind the scenes stuff and that, and there's a lot of question marks over Venus in the first place being added. It. Some people say they did, and some people say it wasn't my. I didn't choose to do it, but yeah, someone obviously wanted to appeal to girls, and it didn't go down well. Cool. We got another playing down under. Hi guys.
How are you keeping? You all right?
Welcome to the stream.
But going back to that 2012 show with the Wasteland, I think there's an episode in either 2012 or 02 where Raphael joins the Foot Clan.
Yes, I believe there is.
Is that in both? Because he wears the Shredder helmet, doesn't he? Or the Shredder.
In one, yeah. I want to say maybe it's the early 2000s, because 2014 it was Leo, wasn't it? Leo was tempted by Karai to go to the Foot Clan.
There's so much good. We should do a watch along maybe. Or one time, all of us pick an episode for all of us to watch, because it's so much good content through all the generations. So I went back to the shows then. Sorry.
You played any of the games?
AJ's writing down the ones you can buy.
No. I'm not really. My gaming years stopped long time ago.
Did you ever play like the arcades or that? Any of the arcade like Turtles in Time or?
Did not.
No,
I was never ever really into games.
No.
Okay. I finished the NES Turtles game. I got through the underwater bit, which is the hardest bit in any game.
Yeah, Nintendo's. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Well, I never see Turtles in Time in the arcades. I thought it was just SNES, because I always remember the original one in the arcades.
Yeah,
but I don't remember ever seeing Turtles in Time. I don't know if that was not in my area.
No,
and the tournament fighters as well.
Maybe it's me. I mean, I know they've done like cabinets in America and stuff for it,
and some fantastic game collections you've got of all of them, or all of the Street Fighter clones on there as well, like Turtles in Time, also Turtles Tournament Fire, all the Game Boy games, and Shredder's Revenge that just recently come out is a homage to the original games, and it's fantastic.
Cool. Oh, playing down under, sent a message to you, AJ. Asking you what? Nope.
Cool. Sorry, no. I was looking on. I was looking on the computer. my thing's propped up against the computer screen, and I was just downloading.
I'm balancing on my steering wheel.
The last episode of Reacher behind, and I was having. That's good to hear. Playing down under. I'm all right. I'm good, thank you. Well, I'm out of my element here. I'm just sort of like spare wheel kicking around here.
I think if you're like a big fan of the X-Men animated show, and that's a great show, I think you'll really like the 03 show.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Okay. He's throwing another question. They need to introduce an Asian and a black turtle now. I think maybe the emoji gives away that maybe that's a bit of jest in there.
Well, I will look at the colours of the turtles. I would have said back in the day, it would have been Donatello.
Yeah,
but he was the darkest of the turtles, wasn't he? You know, he was the kind of because he had the lighter ones. There's 4 different colour tones, and maybe they thought back then Donatello was.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a dog person.
Well, I say there was a lot of. I say there's been a lot of controversy. I think around the Turtles. I think, as we said, like Baxter Stockman, obviously April O'Neil, and how she's seen in Rise, and then obviously Mutant Mayhem. A lot of people have scrutinised that because of the colour of her skin.
But this is how she was in the comics. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm just about to say, like, I think Kevin Eastman has even said that, you draw something in black and white, you're going to assume it's one color or the other, but it's really hard.
She was modelled on one of his ex-girlfriends.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I'm going back to that image of the new ones. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
more of color variations there. And sit, wondering if that's going more down the route of acceptance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I even said like in Rise that Donatello was transgender.
Did it?
So, how can you even what?
No, it's to tick a box, isn't it? I think on that one but yeah, I think I think Last Ronin's good because obviously it brings back Kevin Eastman and Laird. So obviously people who don't know, when they obviously created the Turtles and stuff very early on, they had a little bit of a falling out, and Eastman sold his rights and shares to Laird. Then Laird sold it to, I've got the year down. I did write it. No,
if people not seen it, watch the Toys That Made Us do a really good Turtles episode about the history.
Yeah,
who hasn't seen it?
It was what was it? Around the 2000s. So around the 2000s, he sold all of it to what is Viacom, and Viacom is now Paramount, which obviously have the rights for 60 million. 60 he got, and obviously Eastman didn't get a cent of that because he sold his, because of, I believe it was, I think round or near to Next Mutation, and before that there were just decisions that they didn't agree on because Laird wanted it to kind of keep to the core thing, and he kept a stipulation in there that when he sold it for 60 million that they could use the material and rewrite a comic if they wanted to, which is how we've got The Last Ronin, which is good to have him back. I think they have made up. Eastman, I think, has made loads of money because he has always been like a consultant or like
Nickelodeon brought him back.
Yeah, and he's done so much with it. I'm sure that he's not short of a few bob.
He's like a George Lucas, isn't he? But a little bit more control.
Yeah.
With the 60 million doesn't seem a lot.
Well, in 2000, I would imagine
that probably. But now you look at it and you think, with the longevity that this show has had, with the or the creation has had, the IP, I should say, 60 million doesn't seem now. Seems minuscule, doesn't it? For it.
Yeah, for the franchise. I mean, I think when he sold it, the first year of it going, so the early 2000s, 2003 series, I think in toys it made like 240 million in the first year. So, like, whoever bought Viacom or Paramount, whatever you want to call them, they obviously made their money back. But I mean, for Laird, I don't think he does a lot. I don't think he's quite a social person.
No. So there's a big age difference between them both, isn't there?
Yeah, I think he's like almost 10 years older than Eastman as well. So I think there is that age gap. I mean, if you like the Toys You Made Us, that's Rob. That's what I watched to get a little bit more added insight. And you can tell he's quite an elderly man. He was married when obviously him and Eastman met, which shows you like back in the day, back in the early 80s. And it's quite funny because where they got together and met up is a place in America called Northampton. And funny enough, I'm from Northampton. I live in Northampton in the UK. So I thought that was quite funny. Just a random fact there. Oh, let's see. Playing down at always. Donatello is Asian, I think, very scientific. Michelangelo is black because he's cool. Well, that is one way to interpret it. It is and then he's follow up.
Do I have the film TMNT?
No, I think he thinks that. Do you hate TMNT? You're not familiar with it because I think.
Oh,
maybe
no. I've got an array. I'm just not as knowledgeable about turtles as these two, who sort of live and breathe.
Well,
I mean,
you know me, I dive into every. I have so many likes and interests that that's kind of the whole
well,
point.
I've got Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady tattooed on my chest. So
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, let me just reiterate for Playing Down Under, before you jumped into the stream, I was saying that whereas Rob and Chris kind of grew up with Turtles when it first came about, I was at a point where I'd grown out of animation of that era. You know, I'd gone through He-Man, I'd gone through Transformers, Mask, Thundercats, and at that point the Turtles came along. I weren't interested in animated stuff anymore, so it sort of later on I sort of came back to it, just as a quick sort of, do you know what I mean? Just to let you know where I'm at with it.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I'll make sure the next one you know more about it, AJ. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He-Man.
Yeah, we could definitely do He-Man. I'm sure there's the Dolph Lundgren movie and everything else. There's
just don't do the new adventures.
the new event. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't mind it, but yeah, it was a bit of a change of pace, wasn't it?
The what?
The new
The new
adventures
adventures of He-Man.
in the 90s. He gets kind of
Classic He-Man. Classic.
In
kind
space,
of-
isn't he?
I'm trying to think. Does he get warped to a different world, or is it a different
Oh,
time? I can't remember now. And then
Guys,
Skeletor follows him.
my sister was more into She-Ra, so I gave up on He-Man in the end. So I didn't see any stuff with Hordak. I always thought Hordak was a He-Man villain, but he wasn't.
No,
So they were the She-Ra villains. And when new Masters come out, for me, I just remember how bad the figures were.
No, I could. Yeah, I see where you're going. I still grew up on it, and I think up until probably like my 20s, I was like, why didn't He-Man and She-Ra ever get together? And then it's like they're cousins. That explains it.
I do like the Christmas special they did though.
Yeah. I got that.
With great film.
I reviewed that. Not this. I think it was last Christmas. I watched and reviewed that.
Big fan of Fisto as well. Fisto makes me laugh. Fisto and Jitsu. Actually, you can't even get away with Jitsu now. No way.
Yeah, what I could get away with in the 80s.
Yeah. But you say we've got the He-Man Turtles crossover, so are we going to get maybe an animated film?
Who knows?
Which would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
With the Revelations kind of animation, which looks a little bit like the TMNT Batman, it'd be great.
Yeah.
And the figures come with a little comic book, which the story's actually quite good.
Yeah. Yeah, the figures do. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover figures do look interesting. The first wave maybe 2 waves have been revealed.
Yep.
And then you have a builder figure as well, isn't it?
Metal.
I want to say it's Battle Trapjaw, ain't it? And a Mouser together. Oh no,
I think it's a metalheadish kind of character as the builder figure.
Yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, Metalhead and Trapjaw together, which is a weird combination.
It's got a mouse hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think because you get a mouse when you get Combining My Soul, Pixel Dan's review of it, and I know his one was you got all these turtle figures. So I'll say like the turtle figures are like this, and then the He-Man figures like smaller than the turtle figures, and he's like, how does that work? Like size comparison, but
the Bay Turtles almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know nothing about these.
Bulletproof. What's that, Jay?
So I don't know about these figures. I'm gonna have to have a look now.
Yeah. They're fantastic. I think they're Turtles of the Universal, Masterverse. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, something like that.
But the comic is Shredder joins Skeletor to mutate. Then I think Beastman's good in this. Beastman's good. He leaves them and joins the Turtles. Man at Arms has got kind of like Turtles shell body armor. Krang's it's got Leatherhead. There's a load of characters in the comics that they're going to do Leatherhead. The Slash is really cool.
Okay.
Slash is almost a fifth turtle, isn't it?
Yeah, he's
the corner.
Yeah.
You'll buy it. You can get them on. You can get them online for £25 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imported.
Yeah. Well, as you say, but because they're related to like He-Man, they're more expensive than what the cheaper ones are. But
I think they're the 4-part ones where you can swap limbs.
Yeah. So we have a question from Yam Yam. He may surprise him, but he's never watched anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle related, but he is intrigued by the new film and the trailer looks fun. I mean, I really like the movie. I mean, from our perspective, if he's not seen anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what do you think we should recommend for him to get him into Turtles? What do we feel is the best jumping on point?
It could be the new film, because I think going back to the old stuff, animation ain't the best. I would probably maybe start with some of the comics, but even the new stuff, they didn't have the rights. There's some issue with Baxter Stockman.
Okay.
Because Superfly was going to be Baxter Stockman, because the first picture of the figure, he had clothes on, he had like a shoe sticking out. The figure's got a shoe, which wasn't. And it turned out that he's my dad kind of thing. But he was originally going to be Baxter Stockman, but there was an issue with that. Was it something to do with the rights to the flyer?
Okay.
But there's some conflict with him. I don't know. They can't call him something. I know, but I would say probably watch the new film, because there's so much you can go back and you're watching shows that in total have probably got 200 episodes. Yeah. So even you might say Forever's kind of touches a bit on all the franchises.
No, that's a good suggestion. I was going to say the original movie, but then I thought, depending on your age, it might not have aged well for some people with Shredder and stuff. But yeah, no, well, I suppose that
what you could another good recommendation is, if I say again, the Batman Turtles crossover, because it may assist. If you've got an interest in Batman or you like Batman, it may help as a stepping stone to bring you into it, introduce you to those characters, the Turtle characters, through another character that you may be familiar with, and then step into the Turtles alone in something.
No, all good suggestions. It's quite easy to get. I think all of them you can get hold of quite easy online and probably stream from some places. And then we have another question. What do we think of Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? So, Out of the Shadows, and I dropped stuff, so it leads to.
Oh my God!
Although I know they kind of shredded up, that they're transformed up Shredder, but that's the only way you can fight the Turtles. Because look how big the Turtles are.
I know they're huge, aren't they?
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't mind these films. I had fun with them. They looked good.
What about the original reveal when they showed you the very first trailer? They were saying like Shrek, Michelangelo, and I think Mikey's the first one you see land on the roof.
Yeah.
And it's an innuendos like, oh, my shell's tightening. It's a little bit weird.
Where they're trying to market. It's like, oh, it's only a mask, and takes his like orange mask off, and like, oh, don't worry, it's only a mask. Like he's got.
And they cartooned the faces down in Out the Shadows. I think they made them more likable.
Yeah.
And Johnny Knoxville was Leo, wasn't
he? In the first one, he was the voice of Leo, and then there was there's a lot of controversy.
Even the guy that plays Archer, if you watch his interviews on Turtles, he hated it, every minute of it. He hated being that. He said they got abused on set. They weren't getting paid much. There's no canteen, and he signed up for 3 films.
Stephen,
interviews online.
I think we said yesterday, Alan Richardson, who plays Reacher, he was one of them, wasn't he? And he wasn't. He doesn't speak of his time doing it either.
Yeah, I mean, I know anybody who doesn't know what we're kind of elaborating. So, Reacher, if you've ever seen the new TV series, that guy, he played kind of the body double of Raphael and the voice in the first one. Him and the 3 other guys who did that, they were treated really badly. They were like in the first movie. I remember,
weren't they?
he literally I think he said one of the filmings was the set there. Literally, they packed everything up. Everybody had gone. They were the last people there, waiting for someone to actually give them a lift back to the hotel. And this is after doing like a 12, 14-hour day. You're out in the sun in these big padded suits, and hats off to him. He sucked it up. He did it. He did not want to come back for the second one, but he did it because he had a written obligation to. But I think that's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it. I liked the design. As I say, there were a few bits with 2. I mean, I like the fact we got Krang and stuff, and the Technotrone was a bit poor. Maybe they
People
could
have
have.
said I think they were cast quite well. I like Seamus. He was cool.
Yeah,
as well.
isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. I thought they looked good, and the mutant it made sense. Yeah, Stephen
I think
Amell.
Stockman was funny.
Yeah, yeah. Stockman actually, he actually had a really good time, wasn't it? The bloke who plays he does like a Big Mama's House type character. I can't remember what her name is now. But yeah, I liked his character. I liked his Stockman. I was looking forward to what he'd bring to number 3. But yeah, it's just a shame that nobody went to see it. And
bring Kariah into it as well. Bring Kariah. Heavily focused on Megan Fox, I think, a little bit, but maybe that's because obviously something to do with Transformers. They're all right. I like that. And there was foot soldiers in the second film instead of just people with guns. So it was very much trying to please the fans, but then a lot of people didn't watch it.
No. Yeah, I think one, I say, tainted. I mean, I was surprised. I went in with low expectations of 1. I thought 1 wasn't going to be very good. And I think it's one of the first movies for a long time I saw twice in a span of not too long because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it just is what it is. Unfortunately, obviously, films and movies are subjective. That's why we're here. Because we've all got different opinions. But yeah, it's good that they keep reinventing the Turtles in different ways for us all to enjoy. And
no, absolutely.
Yeah, man says thanks for the recommendations. He has the Blu-ray in his basket ready for over a week. I'm just taking the purge and all of it. I do like the hand.
I think the animation is better than Into the Spider-Verse. I think you might looks better.
Now we're gonna get.
When he says the TMNT, does he mean the new one, or are you talking about?
He means
talking about that film.
New Mayhem. So let's get a better. That style.
Yeah.
But the TMNTs are good. Probably watch after you've watched a bit more of the lore. It's kind of where they are now. There's no crime that they've taken Shredder out. There's nothing else to do. What are they doing in their spare? How are they earning money? How are they buying pizzas? They stealing? You know, how are they funding this stuff other than theft? They're stopping criminals, but they're thieving themselves. So it kind of explains how they're making their money. And then there's a new kind of there's a new invasion happening with characters they've made just for the film, and they were cool.
Mutant Mayhem,
New Mayhem, yeah. Maybe Donatello's like fixing stuff for people like dishwashers and that. Maybe that's what they should have done, like a hardware store. Which I think, does April have a hardware store, or Casey have an hardware? Or there's a hardware store in the Nickelodeon series, isn't there? They hide out. Do they hide out in it? I think from when the Krang attack.
In the first film, when they're passing money through the sewers to get the pizzas, they find the money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pizza guy's got 30 seconds. I've got 6 seconds.
Yeah, 30 minutes or it's free. You know?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, I did really like the art style of the new one. I know if you saw the live stream last night, me and AJ had a nice chat. Well, I moaned about Across the Spider-Verse. I think this movie's more consistent, but that's just to my personal taste.
Well, Spider-Verse was too many different art styles in one film. Every place it went to, it changed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to. I mean, as I say, I did like Across the Spider-Verse. I did like the characters. I did like Spider-Man India. I did like the style of the Vulture, and I liked it better than 1. I didn't like the Kingpin or the Kingpin style, how it was drawn, or Doctor Doctor Octopus. They definitely amped it up for 2, and it was far better. But yeah, just for me, I'm a little nitpicky like Rob. But I don't want to bash on AJ because he's probably had enough of me moaning about it. I'll get like one less subscriber after this, and AJ won't talk to me. So.
It's not like it's not like Scanner Darkly. Do you know what I mean? Consistent.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Spider-Verse. I understand they were trying to build these different worlds. And it had a lot of money and a lot of resources for Sony for doing it. So I kind of understand why they were going with it. But I mean, it did really well. It's made loads of money, and a lot of people love it. So you've got to give it that credit. And obviously it's Miles. It's a new. It's kind of the James Bond, ain't it? Everyone has a James Bond they love now. We've got different Spider-Men that some people love Peter, some people love Miles, some people love Gwen, maybe Spider-Ham. I'm sure there's probably a few out there.
T-Rex one.
Yeah. So it's good. Like, obviously, we have this world where they open up. You may have answered, but do you prefer the series, the live actions, the original films, or Mutant Mayhem?
They're setting up a new law with. They're setting up a new. It's very hard to put Mutant Mayhem with all what's come before it because it's setting up something new. I think with stuff like the original cartoon, you've probably got 50 episodes of filler. There's so much filler, and they're probably the first 6 episodes, probably the best 6 episodes in the whole series of the original. Where the 2002 goes into more the lore, goes back and forth quite a bit. 2012 kind of tries to do both shows. Rise is just completely out there, trying not to be anything. New characters like Meat Sweats, weird characters. Ball Hop, there's some really weird ones. And Origami Foot Soldiers, it's just really, really weird stuff. And then you got the movies, the 3 movies that are kind of the trilogy. It's difficult to say what prefer. They're all good in their ways, but I think you're one or the other.
I think what it is, when you go back to that original series, that was your jumping on point for that was aimed squarely at children.
Yeah,
right. There was no adult. Yeah, and as time has progressed and the IP has grown, the franchise has grown. And you've had, you're now aiming it at existing fans, and you're aiming it at a younger audience as well. So you're trying to cater for all. And the minute you start catering for all, you start bringing in the element of better characterization, maybe more ongoing story arcs and things like that. Do you know what I mean? You'd know better than me the answer to that. If I had to choose one, the only way I can really answer this question is that if I had to choose one Turtle product over everything else, where I stand at the moment, I would take the original movie.
Because it's almost self-contained, isn't it? Like a lot of time with the original shows, they're self-contained episodes, where the other shows are, like you said, like arcs.
Yeah.
5-6 episodes that tell a story. And you in there, the Turtles' first film got the origin. It's left open potentially, and you've seen them grow. You know where it could go. You can watch that and never make another Turtles film.
Yeah.
And that's enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I'd have to agree. I mean, if it was films, then yeah, definitely the first movie. I mean, if it's series, I mean, probably same as you, Rob. If you go back to it, it's so you like it for nostalgic, but when you go back and watch it, even like Transformers, I love Transformers, but when you go back and watch the series, it is so bad in places.
I tried to watch it from the beginning. I got to halfway through season 2.
The voices are off and all this stuff, and you're like, oh my god. And I mean, I which is strange because obviously I watched the series and I never watched the film until I was almost 20 for Transformers, but still loved it. But I mean, yeah, I would say that the series, I'd probably say 2012. I think that's a good. Out of the series, that's the one I probably love the most, and there's a lot more to it.
It's got some real adult themes in it. It's not because we watched it me and the wife every episode weekly when it was on. We didn't miss an episode, and it was a Nick show, but it wasn't a kid show. Some of these storylines, this is like even like with Slash and his little volcano turtle. We had this like ice cream kitty. It's weird stuff, but it's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, so your younger audience can watch it and not get that, but your existing fan base, the people who followed the series from those young days and still watch it now, which a lot of people do, can get something else out of it.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, as I think I said earlier, like with like Big Trouble in Little Chinatown and stuff like that, is so many of like 80s and 90s series took from films. So I mean, if you remember the original cartoon, and you might know remember this, they had a point where they had these like eggs that were put on pizzas that then become like aliens, and basically it was aliens.
Yeah.
And it was
They
just
did
like
that in 2012 as well. 2012 is an episode. You got the figures with the
rat.
space turtles.
Yeah.
There was, I think, it's a character called Squirrelnoid. That was it was a squirrel, big red squirrel, but he had the tongue like the aliens.
Yeah. And it's how cool. We have follow up. We've been interested in this standalone movie. Would I understand it? Yeah, so Mutant Mayhem is the first, as Rob said, of a trilogy. So if you watch this, you can go in fresh, enjoy it, and then there is more content coming. I think there's you said there's 2 series as well that we were released. So yeah, it's a good jumping on point.
I think it's just character. Like if you watch, like say Bebop and Rocksteady, the villains in the original, they're henchmen for a character, and they kind of turn as character changes, which people won't agree with. But if you go in fresh and watch them as they are in this, then go back, you might be a bit, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Leatherhead is amazing in the OG show, and a big bulky character, and then they change her in the new one. So it's difficult, but as you said, a new person, go watch Mutant Mayhem, start off with, and that's got probably 5-6 years in it. Watching that franchise rather than going back, because just say the animation's dated on the originals, the bandana's changed colour in episodes, the voices changed. It's a lot. The first series original, 7 episodes, 6 episodes, great. Then you watch him 30 to 40 episode seasons, and it's a lot of like Dragon Ball. There's a lot of filler in there.
Yeah. I think that whenever they restart and give you something new, a new series or whatever, it would be a jumping on point that anyone could get into at that juncture.
Yeah. Plus, you don't start watching stuff saying that's going to be a toy. That's going to be a toy. That'd be a good toy. That'd be out next week.
Yeah, I mean, say if you like the look of it as well, I think he said he watched the trailer, then definitely jump on that. And I say we're just fortunate we've seen a lot of the older stuff first, because we all getting old, unfortunately.
It could be going forward that TMNT only works as a film franchise if it's not live action.
Yeah, possibly.
Because you can do more of it. The Transformers are big robots. You can't get a robot don't look real. But a turtle is human looking. If you make him too small, it looks stupid next to a human character. So, like, if you're not using like the puppets or the costumes in the original, it won't work as a CGI Turtles film unless you make it completely CGI, like 07.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Yam says, I don't mind the questions. No, that's what you're here for.
No.
You help us pack the episode out, because I'm sure it's good that AJ can interact with stuff, and all of us that we're not. Playing Down Under says, I have eggs on pizza for breakfast.
Good.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever had an egg on a pizza.
Chicken curry on pizza.
Sorry?
Chicken curry on pizza.
What's your opinion of pineapple on pizza?
Hawaiian. I don't mind it.
See, I run an Italian restaurant, and on the menu we have Hawaiian pizza. They hate cooking it because it's not an Italian pizza. It's not made. Yeah. It's like I have trouble with hot pineapple. I think it's weird.
I can get where they're coming from. It is a very unusual taste, so to speak. But yeah, I like it. And then go back. Yeah, I mean, this is Frank, Chris, and Rob. That's all right. That's what we're here for.
And if you ever want to collect toys, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. That it's hard. I would always say get the brothers. Start off with the brothers. My collection's changed. I wouldn't buy loose incomplete. They have to be complete, because obviously, like with you and your Mighty Ducks, I know they're hard to get. You pay more for the weapons in these figures, so you might see a figure for £100 complete. Oh, that one's £30 incomplete. You're paying $200 to complete them again. So
yeah, no,
don't buy just because obviously it's cheap, because obviously you're going to spend more in the long run.
No. Well, I mean, I think you said, wasn't it? Was it Cybertron Collections on eBay? So they're all guides.
So these books here, they don't just do them. I've got 3 volumes here. Cybertron Collections here. They do Thundercats, He-Man, Ninja Turtles. They do loads, and it'll be step by step. I'll get a page up, for example. But what it'll tell you, you'll have, for example, one of the figures. It's get the camera right. So you get like a tick box, and it'll show you what figure, what weapon, when it comes out. And this is 88 to 2000 to 91. There's 3 different volumes. They do these on. He does it. I think they're like £6 each.
Wow.
Right. And they do He-Man. They do 4 He-Man ones, Transformers G1, Thundercats, and it's a nice little thing to have. Stuff you don't always see. But this one's obviously quite hard to get hold of.
Yeah,
this is this figure goes for probably about 1,000 now, I think, ish.
At least in America, I'd probably say more, but yeah, I think the cheapest I've seen it is about 1,000. Scratch the cat. So
the character that never come out. And then there was never that one in the show. The end of the turtle line, so you'll see carded ones with reduced $2 on or something. They're going for crazy money because no one bought the lines then. But obviously, Super 7 re-released it, and it's a great figure. The Super 7 did.
Yeah, I liked it, and his little companion was a bit more fleshed out and stuff.
Yeah.
And affordable. But surprisingly, I thought sometimes when they re-release a figure or bring a new version out, it drops down the value of scrap, or it might drop down the value of the original. But I don't think it has. I don't think it's even affected
I think if they do a reproductions like with Star Wars, they've re-released Yak Face again, and that's affect the price a bit. If they're the same molds, I think they're storage shell turtles. They're knocking them out in Ice or Aldi for $8.99 at the moment, and that's affected the value because it's very hard to tell difference because the accessories are the same. So with that, if I wanted to collect them as a new collector, I would buy the reissues.
Yeah,
because I think they do like Baxter Stockman, Krang in like the Entertainer now, so it's worth starting. And then they're doing the 2003 line again. They're just released in America, so they're gonna start bringing them back out. That's a way to collect cheaper.
And they're affordable. I think, like I said, like they're like £11-12, aren't they? I think in the Entertainer, so they're cheap figures.
They look identical. If you have them on the shelf, it's not going to matter because you don't buy. If you open figures, you're not buying them to sell. So why does it matter if you're keeping it on card?
Yeah, you open them to dust them like I have to.
Yeah. Let them breathe.
Yeah, not like AJ. He likes to choke the life out of them in their little boxes.
Yeah, I don't open many figure. I'll keep it. It's easier for me to display stuff. I couldn't. I mean, I've got enough stuff sat around anyway. Do you know what I mean? All the statues and that, figures as well. I'm quite happy to have them keep them in their boxes. But it's not for purposes of value down the line because I don't collect like that in that mindset. It's just easier to display, to keep when they're in boxes. Otherwise, I can't throw the box away. If I was to open them, I couldn't throw the box away anyway. So then I'd have 2. I'm taking. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm taking up double space.
And the packaging's part of the product now. The packaging's nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob.
The packaging's part of the appeal because a lot of packaging is nice packaging, good backgrounds. You're not buying. It looks cool to display in the packet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And with the packet, with like bubble carded stuff, I could just I can hang it from the wall easy enough. And take up space like that.
Cool. Playing Down Under says he just likes Hawaiian pizza, but he's not against pineapple on pizza. Each their own. Understandable. And then Yam's come back. He started collecting toys. I recently bought a Hatchet figure from HMV, but I would like to get. But I would like. I
think they're the Tiny Toon Terror things, isn't they? The Hatchet one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think he did send me a picture, I think, because I said I really liked the Ash and Scream one, but obviously they're the really expensive ones because they're the more common and popular characters. But yeah, obviously it shows the diverse of HMV of now they sell a lot more figures and vinyl and stuff that you can.
It's frustrating. Like in Best Buy, or in America, you can get Neckers, and why don't we see Neckers in Smiths? So I mean, they must be able to do it. You can't get that kind of figure unless you go to like Forbidden Planet, Worlds Apart, and you're paying top end.
Yeah. Maybe it's the future. Maybe that's what Smiths might branch into, or maybe if Toys R Us comes back better than I've not been to any of the new stores that have opened or little pop-ups.
A big Woolworths back. Get Woolworths back. Allworths,
yeah.
I think it's called Allworths or something at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, we'll let pick a mix. That's all I was remember.
Yeah. The tiny cans of Coke.
Yeah. Well, they weren't tiny back in the day, were you? Because you had to a lot.
No, they're massive. Yeah, again, with the figures with turtles, pick a version of turtles you like, because you could have 15 different Donatellos, because there's so many. Just get the 4. I was going to originally just get the 4 turtles in every generation of turtles, because I thought that was a good idea. But then there's so many. As I said, you get different costume ones. Just pick pick the 4 you like. Get a couple of villains. You don't need to go get millions. Yeah. I've got a box of 600 turtle figures just to sit in there.
See, I've only got, like I said earlier, I've only got 2 turtle figures.
And then you want to get the NECA one. Well, you want to expand out. You want to get the NECA ones. They are good.
I want to get the NECA, the NECA movie ones. Yes, at some point. I mean, I've been saying that for the past year or so. I'm not rushing or anything to, you know.
About £20 or £26 each, and last time I see them, so they don't break the bank, and they come with a lot of accessories. Yeah,
they're not that bad. That ain't too bad a price now. You do see them at decent.
And the eyes are a bit terrifying because it looks so real.
Yeah, see, they're good. Then you know, I like the NECA stuff.
Cool. I'll say, well, that's all the questions. I think we may have exhausted the conversation a little bit now. So I think unless you guys have a problem, should we call it a day there? We can.
That's cool. It's gone very quick.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
No, that's all right. Thank you very much for turning up. I think AJ is very pleased you turned up. I'd just be worried me short of an hour and a half.
I'd have been winging it.
Yes, Chris.
Did you not know I was going to make an appearance, AJ?
Oh no. I said to Chris last night in the live. I goes, you know, you really should have Rob onto the Turtles chat. I goes, because he's the authority in it. I goes, I've not done no preparation. I know very little. He goes, oh, Rob's coming in. I thought, thank God for that.
I think when we originally planned to do it, I wanted you on, but I didn't want to pressure you to feel like you have to. So that's why I was like, I won't announce you on a thumbnail, but if you can make it, that's great, obviously. And AJ is very happy you turned up, and I am too. So
because you're not, you know it. I don't know nothing about Turtles.
No.
But you will. You'll learn it through watching the shows, and it's a good learning curve because it's not like it's good stuff.
You know, it's like it's like dipping into a bath. If you're fully submerged in a bath, I've just dipped my toe into it. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Not while you're in it.
No.
Sitting there with the rubber duckies.
Yeah.
Well, as we said, there's so much stuff that is just like it is, you know, and with like everything being reimagined and He-Man and everything else, there's just so much out there that it just is a bit overbearing sometimes, but it's good. Yeah. You know, we've got a quick few questions are thrown in. He likes Michelangelo. Okay. Yeah, Michelangelo. So the orange bandana.
He's very close range, really. Like Donatello's obviously for combat. You ain't got to be close with you.
No, he's. Well, I think he does it in the Mutant Mayhem. He always says he goes like, "Oh, all he'll give me is a stick." Yeah. He's just like whacking people with wires. Like,
well, I didn't bring it down, but I do actually have a Donatello upstairs from that my missus got me from Build-A-Bear.
Oh,
The Build-A-Bear Donatello.
No, that's good. I know he puts great for it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody that's watching, and thank you everybody who watches this in the future. Thanks to AJ for joining me and Rob to be a special guest. I think for AJ, we will probably do maybe He-Man as the next one, but it'll be a few months to try and get our collection up. And yeah, if you guys want to end the live stream, thank you everybody for watching. Bye.